Okay, everybody, I'm back. Yeah, I had to stop right there because currently, right now, in case nobody knows, I have a 15-minute time limit on my videos thanks to YouTube for certain reasons that I guess I wasn't aware of, or basically because there's a studio out there just decided to copyright a certain animes that I just had clips of. So, but that's okay. I'm cool with it. I've dealt with this before, I could deal with it again. But anyway, getting back to what I said, the Creator Arena option is a vast improvement over last year's. I mean, again, you get 5 arenas. You get 5 arenas. Like I said, you get the regular arena you had in 12. You get a high school, gymnasium, auditorium, whatever you want to call it, venue. You get the expanded arena, which I like to call the big mega arenas, which would be like, let's say, I don't know, maybe an arena that would sit possibly 20,000, 25,000, all depending on its size. And then, of course, you get the Tribute to the Troops arena, as well as you get the outdoors arena, which I mentioned at the end of part 1 of the first video, is a take off WrestleMania 9's Caesar Palace Arena. So you get those options, and again, like I said at the end of the last video, it allows your creative juices to really flow. And when you create a logo, when you go to creations and you create your logo, or you go to Xbox Live and you go to Community Creations and you download a logo you download a logo from there, hoping it's a logo you could use or has been made. It again allows your creative juices to really flow, and it's really, really fun. And I have seen, you go to Community Creations, and like I said, I have seen some unique logos. I've seen some unique arenas. I mean, some people do a great take off WCW, some of the past WCW arenas, ECW arenas, New Japan, Pro Wrestling Noah, USWA. I mean, TNA. I mean, I downloaded an exact, almost replica of the Impact Arena, or the Impact Zone of Impact Wrestling right now. The only exception is the person put it in the expanded arena, I believe. I think they should have kept it more in the smaller arena, give it more of that outdoorsy, give it more of that true Impact feel. Now, another thing about this is when you create these arenas, like I said, you have the option. Basically, it allows your creative juices to flow, but you also have the options of like what lights you want to use. Like if you want to use any lights in certain sections, and it gives you like almost like an A through H or A through G option in some of those. As well as when you're done completing, it allows you to kind of, at the end when you get towards the finalization, it allows you, okay, like do you want to brighten up the arena? Like when you get to the part where you have to create your menu header. In other words, the header that shows the name, the graphic that shows the name of the person or the team. And as well as the screenshot you want to select to, show what your arena, to show off your arena. So like if you upload it into Community Creations, people can kind of look at it and get an idea of what it looks like. You also get the option in that area, in that finalization part, to lighten it up. So in other words, you can have, like, let's say, an arena like this, like dimmed like this, or you can have the option of, let's say, turning on some lights like that and brightening it up. You could have it dark, you could have it sort of a bluish color, like a reddish color, a grayish color, I think, as well as a dark color, or else, like I said, you can lighten it up and you can see the entire arena. And that's really a unique experience. Now, and that's a unique, experience in itself, to finally see what the arena would look like if you brightened it up, if THQ would have brightened it up in the first place with last year's game and probably some games before. Now, another aspect about this as well is you do get the traditional graphic headers, the graphic name headers, like from last year, with a few exceptions, with a few additions, I should say, not exceptions, but a few additions. Like You get SmackDown, right off the bat you get Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Superstars, and you get the pay-per-views as well, like WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, you name it. But as you progress through the Attitude Era, you also unlock their graphic title headers as well, graphic name headers as well. Like when you unlock a majority of all the arenas, you get graphic titles you get the graphic name titles for Bad Blood, St. Valentine's Day Massacre, Royal Rumble 99, WrestleMania 15 and 14. You get all of these. The only thing is, though, the only thing I will criticize on is they don't give you the option to take the title of the event off, so you just have the bar for your name. The only one that really succeeds at that is St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which would probably be understanding why a lot of people will choose it. Because it's a different one, and it doesn't have no name on the side of it. A majority of the other ones do. Now, unless you have a created a created wrestling league, or promotion that you showcase on YouTube, or Blimp, or Daily Motion, if you will, and you decide, okay, I'm going to create a CPV and I'm going to call it Breakdown, then go ahead, use the Breakdown graphic. No big deal. But again, that's one of the things I will criticize about, is the fact that they don't allow you to take the event name off, so you could just use the graphic bar. The graphic name bar, I should say. Now, besides that, everything else is great. They definitely expand a lot when you create your superstar or your diva. They definitely give you more options. I will say that. And that's a good thing. They give you a lot more options there, like with the outfits, the mask, the makeup, the face paint, everything. They give you all the great options that you've been wanting, that you're used to, I should say, and that you've also been wondering if they'd ever add. They have done some of that as well. And I'm sure they're going to add a lot more as time goes on with downloads and stuff like that. Overall the gameplay is just, it's great. The gameplay of this is definitely a vast improvement. Of course, another one of the selling points besides the Attitude Era was the OMG moments, the oh my god moments. The superplexes to break the ring, the flying off the top turnbuckle onto an opponent through an announce table, or crashing through the announce table yourself. Tackling your opponent or spearing your opponent through the barricade. These were the selling points. Or the superplex out of the ring. These were the selling points. Now, for anybody that hasn't gotten this game, one little spoiler, if you will, one little spoiler for those that don't have this. If you're expecting, well, it probably isn't a spoiler, but you probably have heard by now that the superplex, if you will, to break the ring, in case you haven't heard or have heard, the superplex to break the ring can only be done by super heavyweights. So you got to create a character. If you want to create yourself, you're going to have to create yourself to be in about 295 or 200 something. I think around 200 something pounds. I think 95 or 280 something pounds to break the ring. And that's the alarm going off. I don't know why it's going off, and it's scaring my dog. So, but yeah, you got to be a super heavyweight. Basically close to 300, you got to break the ring. So that's what you need to do. Because if you're a regular heavyweight or light heavyweight or featherweight, whatever it is, you can only suplex outside of the ring. Now the benefit about that, though, is if you suplex outside of the ring, I'm checking my time here. Okay, I'm fine. The benefit is if you suplex outside of the ring, then it's always benefit, if you're doing like an Extreme Rules match, have a table out there. You can break the table by doing that. Now, again, the OMG moments live up to the hype as well, so that's pretty good. So live up to the selling point, and it's pretty good. It's really good. Overall, the game is definitely a vast improvement over 12. I will say this, there are some glitches, there are some things that still need to be worked out. I mentioned this in a video where I talked about a few problems that THQ and WWE games need to work. And one of the problems is I was playing a backstage brawl with two of my divas, and one of my divas went like this, and then my other diva that I was playing as was doing this, and all of a sudden the game froze. So there are times that that will happen still. There are also times where you'll get locked up into a headlock and it'll just be like this and won't move. So you have to restart the game, or you have to restart the match. So there are some glitches and some things that need to be worked on still. For example, like the continuous play of music. Now you know that when you load, when you're like creating something or you're loading up for a match, that sometimes as soon as you get ready to go right into the match, after you say, okay, let's play the match, the music will slowly, will still play, but then end. It'll fade out. So basically, it'll fade out, allowing the game to load into the match so you can play it. And well, just like last year's and I think a year before, it still has the problem where at times it'll load, but it will load and the music will still be playing and playing and playing, continuously playing from one song to another, which means you would have to restart your console. Or you would have to go to the dashboard, then restart your game, which they need to work on right there. And hopefully some patches coming in will do that. Another thing, of course, is the online deal. As you've probably noticed, with a lot of the, in the past few weeks, when you go online, when you go to Xbox Live, when you go to the Xbox Live portion, you've noticed on the top of I think the right hand or left hand side, it says, they give you a message that they're going to be doing weekly server maintenance every Tuesday in the morning, basically when people are asleep, to improve the service, to improve on the server, which I think is something they should have done last year with WWE'13, but thankfully they're doing it this year because I have noticed vast improvements, because I'm pretty sure they've heard right off the bat when this game came out, here, that there were some, issues with the server. So thankfully that's being ironed out and worked on. Overall though, the game is definitely worth getting if you're a fan of wrestling, if you're a fan of fighting games, if you're a WWE fan, it's definitely worth getting. If you just got into wrestling and you're a WWE fan, this is definitely worth getting because it does give you a history, an idea of why why fans talk about the Attitude Era as much as they do. And it's definitely, a good, catching up deal, like I just said, for those that want to know what the Attitude Era was all about. And again, why people talk about it so much and hope for it to come back. Again, definitely vast improvement. Still has some glitches. One of its main problems, I will say this, and you can pretty much see it in the title. Well, I should have put it in the title, but I'll probably put it. Well, you kind of understand. It also has too many reversals. That's, I think, another thing they need to patch up on as well, is the fact that, okay, you could be going like for a flying elbow, and then all of a sudden you get body dropped out of nowhere, and you think, what's going on? And you try to go again, you get body dropped again. So one of the things I think they need to patch up is the reversal part. Unless there's an option that turns that off, they need to work on that as well. But overall, with a few exceptions here and there, it's definitely a vast improvement. I rank it with maybe, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. Definitely check it out. Definitely worth a buy for any wrestling fan or fighting game fan. So let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like, and I'll talk to you all later.